Aries, I'm going to give you just the messages that like kind of got in now, and this really has to do with messages. There is, some of you might want to call it a download. There's news, download, a plethora of information that is getting ready to come in. That is just really going to fire you up and get you to be very, very active. I'm going to put timestamps in here so you can jump around to wherever you want in the reading, because some parts might apply to some of you, others not. This is really like, just a whole bunch of ping pong balls going off at the same time. And we got the Fairy Oracle to give us some advice. We got the Tarot of the She. And I'll probably pull some from the tea leaf to kind of get a little insight. And there may be some cards from there. So like I said, it's going to be time stamped. We're going to go through as much of this. Now, I do want you to know, like, I don't really do predictive stuff in a way that, because I find it's a double-edged sword. A prediction can either empower you to say, keep going, go on. And this is what I'm getting from that. This is the good side of that sword. The other side of the sword could say, hey, this is what's going to happen. The universe has already decided you don't have to do anything. And if I do that, I'm robbing you of your power. This is not that kind of predictive thing, because what I'm getting is this message is going to come in, this news is going to come in, the information is going to come in, and you're going to have to get really active. But the most important thing for you to know right now is whatever shows up, whatever this is, you are prepared. You are skilled. You have the ability to take care of it. It may not be fun, pleasant, or what you want to do, but you are completely capable of whatever comes in. And none of this is to scare you. It's not to threaten you. No, there's no like anything like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to get sick or anything like that. None of that stuff. You know, for some of you, it might literally be that you turn on the news, you hear a story, and you're like, you know what, I have to, find out what I can do as a good citizen to, in legal ways, start standing up for something. Or it could be, there's a dump load of paperwork that some of you, like I'm getting, some of you, your renewal for something has to come in, and you've got to scramble around for the documents. But you've kind of already gathered some of them already. You knew this was coming. You just didn't know when. So it's going to be in a variety of ways. I've pulled from the Faeries Oracle, Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle. I'm going to tell you what this card means. So we're going to start off with this. So it's like, yeah, here's a card. This is actually a card in the deck. This is, in this deck, it's supposed to be what your fairy guide looks like. Mine, since I embellished the deck and decorated it, I use this as just a tester to see what would work and what would not work. But that's just to explain why you're looking at something so ridiculous right now. I don't know if that sounds like, I just saw there was a woman here, a female person with like a ponytail up high on her head. So for some of you, I'm seeing that over here for some reason. I've not seen that before. And there is, I'm seeing like, this is one eye, another eye, and that's a nose there of a creature of some kind looking, they're looking at each other. You're just going to have to deal with my dog, Julia, because she like gets into these readings. She'll calm down and stop licking my hand at some point. I know the reading's ready when she jumps up here. All right, so let's get back to the message. The fairy guide came out, which means your guides are totally with you on this. You have every bit of support you need to get through this, besides all of the strength and skill you have. Now, at the bottom of the deck, and we'll go through this by one here, the Bright Mother card is here. This is a time of a lot of things are ready to harvest. The growth is there. This may for some of you be a massive spiritual growth spurt for you, a career growth spurt that's going to take a lot of hard work, but you've gotten the education, you've had the, preliminary jobs to prepare you for this. This is ready for harvest kind of stuff. Now behind that card, I already peeked, don't worry, I'm not that psychic, is the Dark Lady. And this, with this card, is very embellished. This is not exact, I've decorated this deck, if you're familiar with it. The Dark Lady has the inner wisdom. She sees the shadows, she sees the light, she doesn't judge either one, either way. But there's an enormous amount of inner knowing, a connection to divine information available to her. And she knows how to work with it. And she knows how to work with it in difficult and challenging situations without being frazzled or hurried or rushed or doubting in herself. And that's a power you have available to you. All right. And then one of the cards that came out behind that, I already peeked at these cards, don't worry, I know, is Lys of the Shadows. Now, Lys is one of those people who goes out in the shadows, and she finds those to help. So for some of you, this is, you have your guides there to help you through a difficult situation where you have to stand up for yourself. And for those of you who feel that you've received some information that's let you know that it's time for you to start speaking up and working to help others, that it's just an acknowledgement to that calling if that's what you have. All right, so we're going to move on. I want to go into the Tarot of the She. Somebody just asked me, which card did you want to see again? I'm going to hold all three of these cards up together. Someone just asked to see them again. Okay, you want them in order of how they came. I'm going to kind of try and get these in order of how they came. If you want to fast forward from here and head up to, you know, when you see me get the next deck out. But there was something here that someone's asking, in particular in the Bright Mother card. Okay. So if that's what you needed, someone is asking for that. They're looking into all the details. And that's important for someone. So you can pause it and take a look at it. I'm going to move on with the reading now, okay? All right, so let's check these over here. We're going to get the Tarot of the She out. The word She is just a Celtic Irish word for fairies, so we'll get that out now. What are we going to ask? Oh, I was just totally drawn to the back here. Warrior 6, no foe too great. You've got this, okay? And this is one of those times where I feel predictives are good. And I keep thinking and being told to say the Leo full moon energy is a part of what's like just igniting this for you to go and do. So if you're catching this anytime, you know, at another time, think of this as possibly being when the next full moon is for you, when this information will come in and you'll be called to, you know, you'll be given the fuel to be able to go out and do what you need to do here, okay? What do we want to know? What do we need to know? Is there anything they need to know of most importance? What's coming out here? Okay, we have the Dreamer Prince, which is the gift of liberty. And what I'm getting from this is some of you have been thinking over a lot of things. And some of you have already been receiving a lot of messages. And they're about to all come into place. Like all the puzzle pieces are going to start to fit pretty soon. For others of you, the information is going to come in a lot of pieces. And not from like one specific space. And for others, you're actually going to get a piece of information. This news is going to come, and you're going to have to go research and do a lot of homework and gather up all the other information necessary so that you can take the, you know, course that is best in alignment with the highest good of all. Okay, we're going to set that down. I'm being told to look at the bottom of the deck. There is the Judgment card at the deck, and with this, I'm being told don't be too judgmental in this, especially getting more information. it may be easy to just react instantaneously in a negative way to the information coming in, but I'm being guided to say that, like, withhold the initial judgment. Just gather, take in the information unemotionally. You can analyze your emotions separate from the information, but get more details, more information, make some plans, figure out the best course of action rather than going into instant reaction mode. All right, we're going to set that there because that was an important card. We have Hermit down here. So you may have to look inside yourself for a moment, sit alone, but you're not going to have a lot of time to just take a time out. You're going to have to get moving on this right away. Is there anything else that Aries really needs to know right now? There's this card, and I'm feeling like this card wants to come out also, and I think that will be all we take from this deck. Okay, we do have the Hangman. And we have with that wanted to come out the Warrior 8, which is the 8 of Swords. And it's dragon fight. I'm kind of blocking a little bit of this message is because it seems a little too specific to some people. And this can be in a relationship, this can be at work, this can be what you see going on, on a large scale geographically. There is something that gives you a whole new perspective about things. And this, with the 8 of Wands, it's the 8 of Wands. I don't know why I said the 8 of Swords. The Warrior 8 is the 8 of Swords. It's not the 8 of Swords. Why can't I say the right word? There's some kind of a message in that. 8 of Wands. Okay, there's something about you need to know your passion, not just the facts and information. Something's going to be off for some of you in the information. That's going to be, because when you check with your passion, your heart, your instinct, your intuition, you get a whole new perspective on something. And that does get you fired up to start getting you in action and communicating and really fighting for something that you believe in. All right. We're done there, I think. There's 2 cards that stayed at the bottom, but I feel like it's just the Chariots right here. It's going to come in fast. There isn't a lot of time to wait. What are these other 2 cards that were sitting at the bottom? You do have the Empress here with the Sun, which is a Leo card, and the Emperor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you were thinking this was a small thing, no. You got the Emperor, the Empress, and the Sun in between. So you are pulling on both everything we consider masculine, everything we consider feminine. And one thing to point out, and this is definitely some serious Leo energy. Some things are coming to light. You are fired up. You have so much here. You're combining these parts of you to fuel this here. I wanted to point out, when I work with the Fairy Oracle deck here, Unity is basically the divine. And then in that deck, it has He the Fiery Sword and She the Craw. And it's when Unity gets split into masculine and feminine concepts that we have on Earth. And they're actually both part of Unity. And we all, when we connect to divine, we're connecting to divinity, which is, before male and female is split. So the fact that you have both the Emperor and the Empress out here means you're not really doing what we label in human understanding as masculine or label as feminine. You're actually dealing with unity, divine. And that multiplies the power because it's not weakened by this false separation of one being one thing and another being another. You're working with the knowing that they are one, and that gives them their full power. And that's what you're doing in the sun. Some serious energy that you've got. All right. We're going to go through 2 different oracle decks to pull out specific individual messages. Some of them will go with you. Go with you. That's interesting. They'd go with you. To where? The Warrior Queen, the Gift of Charm, the Queen of Wands. Some of them will go with you. That's interesting. I'm going to leave that at there and move on. 2 things we're going to go through. Some of these messages will be for you. Some will be for others, but it's just a random bout. We're going to do angels and oracles, and we are also going to do the tea leaf fortune cards. Timestamps are below if you just want to catch one of the batches. We're going to go with this first. We're just going to give some quick messages. We just hit 16 minutes on the clock. Okay. So what does Aries need to know? And this is, sun, moon, rising. And also you can look at where you have our Aries in your chart, because this is just the Aries energy. I'm being told to show you the card here. We do have She-Wolf at the bottom. Unleash the wild within. I mean, that's, and there's the full moon right behind her. Look at that. That's the full moon right there. This is, but you're going to have the energy to do it. You're going to have that. Your guides are with you and you're prepared. All right. Anything else that we need to know here? Anything else to share? I feel like this one might, these 2 want to come out together. We have, I'll show you these 2. Again, a masculine and feminine combining. It is the High Priest and the Magic Guardian. The Magic Guardian, unlock the magic within. The High Priest, intent and create. We're getting a confirmation here again, in case we've missed that or I didn't point it out in the reading before. You need to work with both energies. And for some of you also, you're going to have to be working with people who don't agree with each other and getting them on the same page to get some kind of work done. We'll go through these as fast as I can. What else do we need for Aries right now? Okay, we have Sky Father, trust in the unknown. And I feel like that's kind of, I want a clarifier on this. I'm really trying to reach into this, because I know you need to find all of the information. You may only be able to have access to a certain amount of information, but trust your instincts to know when you have enough of the information and that you can proceed successfully for the highest good of all without having to know the rest. Some of you are not going to be able to get all of the information. You've got to, take what you've got and make it work. Okay. Now this card actually has a personal connection to me, because this is almost like a spitting image of my brother that passed away. So when I see this card, I always think of him, and a lot of times when I read for myself, this card comes out to let me know he's with me. So for some of you, you may have someone who's already passed over looking over you, and you may be able to connect with that for some just instinctive hits when you don't have all of it. But they'll give you the instinctive hits to kind of fill in some of those blanks that you may not be able to get through the physical world. And let's see, one more, please. I feel like there's one more that wants to come out. Yeah, this is the Peacekeeper. This is also the card that comes out when this deck wants me to know that it's done speaking. But this card also talks about a harmonious resolution as possible. I feel like that's in alignment with the reading when we were talking that you have all the skill and all the help from your guides to do this, and the divine working in its highest strength of unity. And we just talked about, for some of you, you may have to take people who are not in agreement and work with them to get an agreement done. And my dog just bopped her head up to toss the cards. I guess she's telling me to move it on, move along. All right, so we're going to get into some tea leaves cards to get that. And I think at the end, what I'll pull is something from the Shaman's Oracle just to get a closing card for this. We're going to tuck that away. Okay, I'm going to pause just a second. I need some water. Okay, we're already at 28 minutes already. Try to keep these to like 15 minutes. Never works out. We do have sunrise. There's that Leo energy coming in for you. New creative ideas, new ventures, fresh start. Some of you, the news comes in the morning, but I'm really getting more of a... And some of you may have to sleep overnight on the news, on whatever message comes in, this thing that comes in. We talked about not reacting, but actually thinking it through, figuring out what information you need. So that could be, sleep on it, because you'll have a better picture of, or an idea, or during your dreams, or your subconscious will work things out. You'll get messages, so forth. We do have the card love coming out. So for some of you, yes, this is a relationship thing that we're discussing. All right, we have unicorn. Use your intuition to make beneficial changes. We've already kind of covered that. So for some of you, you need to change things, whether it's... I'm feeling this is environment-wise, but take it as it resonates, okay? I think this one wants to come out. Dark man, dealings or a relationship with a man with dark complexion or dark hair. These are always odd cards to come out. Take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. I feel like this card here wants to come out too. And we do have November. November comes out a lot. And sometimes this may relate to the reading, but my mother just passed away in November. So 1 out of 3 times when I pull from this deck, when I'm using it, this card comes out. So I don't know if this is for you guys. November may have been the start of you waiting for the information for you to know what to do and act upon it. Or it could just be my mom saying hello. All right, are we done with this? Yeah, the cards are saying we're done with that. So I don't know. Maybe some of you are waiting to hear from your mom, see how she's doing. Maybe, give your mom a call. That November card, like I said, like a third of the time when I use this deck now, since she's passed away in November, this past November, that card comes out. So for a lot of you, I think recently passed loved ones, whether friends, family, pets even. Yeah, somebody has a pet that's still hanging there with you. So that's an important part of it. Besides your guides, you've also got, and they're saying like their wisdom that they had in their lifetime, they're able to pass along to you in just sort of that intuitive sense. All right, can we get a closing card for Aries? Just one card for a closing card. I feel like this is it. The wall, obstacles. I feel like this is like your moment to figure out how to tear down a wall that's been in your way. That's what a lot of you are going to do. And some of you, yeah, there might be a wall that seems to block you in, but don't for a minute think that you're trapped by that wall. You have, so it's going to take a lot of work. For some of you, you're on different areas of this timeline for the wall. I feel like you need something else. I was called to, we do have spiritual narcolepsy at the bottom, but I think it's just saying you've dealt with somebody who's got spiritual narcolepsy. That's for some of you. There's more than one card that wants to come out of this deck. So what do we most need to know, please? Okay, this is the Sky Bridge possibilities for union, and it's in reverse. So some of you are trying to get two people on the same page, as we've discussed before. It may not be possible, so you may have to come up with some creative solutions if it can't be done. I feel like you might, the news for some of you might be one person where you've been struggling with like getting everybody to agree. One person might just be leaving the group, and you might be stuck doing their work. Is there something else here that we haven't talked about? Two cards are coming out, and we're going to take those, and then I will end the reading for you. Okay, we do have in the hand, the universe is your partner. Just another confirmation. And we have a tidy house, clarity, and organization. And it is. I mean, this is a time to pay attention to the details, to get the information correct, to plan out your course of action, and do it quickly. I mean, plan the next 2 steps, and while you're doing those 2 steps, be working on what your plan for the next 2 steps are. It's gonna be a fast-paced kind of thing. And it's just a reminder also, though, make sure you're getting your rest, because one, the amount of energy you're going to need a good night's sleep, but you're also going to get a lot of that information while you're resting at night, when your dreams are going to be really important for helping you figure out how to proceed and go full speed ahead the next day. And at the end of the night, repeat the process. Get up the next morning, full speed ahead again. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thanks so much for joining and letting me read the energy for you. Take care, be good to yourself, be good to others, and I hope to see you in another reading.